Imagine you've just created a popular mobile app that goes viral overnight. On the first day, only 10 people download your app. On the second day, the number of users doubles, and it keeps doubling every day. After 20 days, how many people will have downloaded your app? Exponential growth can be difficult to intuitively grasp, but if you calculate it, you find that after 20 days, over 10 million people will have downloaded your app. And this example demonstrates the astounding potential of exponential growth and how easy it is to underestimate its power. Money Arata. Think about how quickly a social media post can go viral, reaching millions of people in just a matter of hours. Understanding exponential growth is vital for predicting and addressing the rapid spread of information in today's interconnected world. Now attention, this is not financial advice. Please read the full disclaimer before proceeding. The exponential growth is of high relevance to make money and build wealth. If I give you the choice between receiving 10,000 today or 5,000 with a 20% annual interest rate that compounds over 30 years. Which one would you choose? Of course, 20% consistent return is something extremely difficult to find, but that's just to illustrate. The power of compound interest on your money is often underestimated. But now it's time to unveil the potential of compound interest. Let's break it down. If you take 10,000 right now, well, that's it. You've got the money. It's not going to grow unless you invest it elsewhere. But if you take 5,000 with 20% annual interest rate that compounds over 30 years, you're going to be amazed at how much it grows. After the first year, you will have 6,000 because it's 5,000 plus 20% of interest. But here's where the magic happens. In the second year, you get 20% interest on 6,000, not just the initial 5,000. And by the 30 years, you're going to have this 5,000 investment growing to about $1 million, thanks to the power of compound interest. Now, the lesson very interesting here is that compound interest can turn relatively small investments into significant sums over time. The more time you give your money to grow, the more powerful the compounding effect will become. So the next time you're faced with a financial decision, you have to remember the power of compound interest. It might be tempting to go for the larger sum upfront, but don't underestimate the potential growth of smaller investments when given time to compound. To make the most of compound interest, you have to start investing early, be patient, and let time work its magic on your money. Harness the power of compound interest, and you will be on your way to a brighter financial future. And you can learn how to change your behavior and build your wealth in an intelligent way visiting arata.se/truly wealthy. Understanding exponential growth and compound interest is essential for long-term financial success. When it comes to money, the power of compounding can be harnessed to grow wealth significantly over time, while also recognizing the corrosive effects of inflation on your purchasing power that is crucial to preserve your wealth with hard money. First, let's take a look at dividends and exponential wealth. Dividend-paying stocks can contribute to exponential growth in your investment portfolio over time. Because when your dividends are reinvested, you can purchase additional shares, and that in turn will generate you more dividends. This process of compounding can lead to a significant increase in the value of your investment over the long term. For example, if a company pays you a consistent 4% annual dividend, reinvesting those dividends can result in a substantial increase in the number of shares that you own and the overall value of your investment over a few decades. Compound interest is a powerful force in growing your wealth, as the interest earned on your investment will be reinvested, creating a snowball effect. The more frequently interest is compounded, the more significant the growth will be. For example, a 10,000 investment with an annual interest rate of 7%, compounded annually, would grow to 149,000 in 40 years. Now, if you compound that monthly, the same investment will grow to 163,000 in the same period. But probably already know, you heard all of that. What you might not be so aware is that we should also look at the other side of wealth erosion, and inflation. The exponential growth rules also apply to the destruction caused by inflation. Inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon, and it is considered the perfect crime to steal your purchasing power. You can see more details of this on episode number 3 of the Money Arata series. Now, the mainstream media usually refers to inflation as the rate at which the general price level of goods and services increases over time, leading to a decrease in your purchasing power, the purchasing power of your money. There's a lot we need to clarify here. Even at a seemingly low annual inflation of 6%, the value of money can be significantly eroded over time. For example, 10,000 today would be worth around 1,700 in 30 years if you assume a 6% inflation rate. This example highlights the importance of considering the impact of inflation on our long-term financial planning and the need to find investments that outpace inflation to preserve our wealth. How can you not be tricked by this apparently small number, only 6%, and actually realize that it has such a destructive power of your wealth? Well, percentages can be very difficult to understand intuitively. So first we see how we can calculate how much you can earn. To make percentage calculations faster, you can use the rule of 72. And then you can see how much you can earn. To make sense of percentages and the growth rates, you can use the rule of 72. This rule is particularly helpful when it comes to understanding how long it will take your investment to double. The rule of 72 is a simple way to estimate the number of years that it will take your investment to double, given a fixed annual rate of return. All you need to do is to divide the number 72 by the interest rate or your return percentage. Let me give you an example to make it very clear. Let's say you found an investment that will give you 6% of interest rate of returns, and you want to know how long it will take for your money to double in value. So using the rule of 72, you're going to be dividing 72 by the interest rate, and in this case, it is 6. So it will take 72 divided by 6, 12 years for your investment to double at a 6% interest rate. That's pretty easy, right? And now you can also use the rule of 72 to calculate how much you lose to inflation. Because now, okay, you understood that you can use the rule of 72 that we're using here in our example, 6% of an annual return, and then you can see very clearly your money will double in 12 years. Now, before you get too excited, I have bad news. There is also inflation. And then you hear that the inflation rate is 6%. What does that mean to you? How long it will take your money to lose half of its value? And once again, you can use the rule of 72. All you need to do again is to divide the number 72 by the percentage growth rate, or the percentage of the inflation rate. We're going to be dividing 72 by 6. That's the inflation rate. So if we consider the CPI inflation, the official inflation rate of 6%, we also see that the cost of living will also double in 12 years. I might be wondering, like, why the number 72? It sounds a bit random, but actually it's based on very interesting maths. The number 72 comes from the natural logarithm of 2 multiplied by 100. The main takeaway here is that the number 72 is a very convenient approximation that helps us to quickly estimate the time it takes for whatever to double at a certain rate. Now, let's go back to this 6% inflation example. Using the rule of 72, we're going to be dividing 72 by 6. That gives us 12. That means it takes about 12 years for the prices to double at a 6% inflation rate. Now, the problem here is that your investments are growing. You're happy, but also the prices of goods and services, they are also growing. In fact, now they're growing at the same pace. So that means that although your money, the nominal value will double in 12 years, your purchasing power of that money will not increase as you would expect, because everything else in your life has become more expensive. Your real inflation, however, is different from the official inflation. It depends what you want to do with your money. While the measures of the CPI, the Consumer Price Index inflation, might be reporting relatively low inflation rate of 2% per year, that usually is the target, the actual inflation that you experience in your life probably will be very different. The real inflation rate depends on the basket of goods and services that each person consumes And that will certainly be different from the basket that is used to calculate the official inflation numbers. In some cases, the reinflation rate that you might be facing will be much, much higher than the official rate. And that really emphasizes that we need to be searching for assets that will outperform inflation. Now let's talk about, for example, we have a goal of buying a good house. And when I say good house, it means that it will be very well located, with a very high demand in the housing market. It will appreciate more than the average house. Now, unfortunately, things here will get more complicated. Housing prices will probably rise at a faster rate than the official inflation rate. So even though your money is doubling every 12 years, the price of whatever it is that you want to buy, for example, that house of your dreams, the good house, will increase by much more than that. Now, in this scenario, your doubled money will not be enough to buy that good house because the housing prices in general, especially that house that you want, will outpace the growth of your investments. So it's very crucial here to consider not only the return on investments, but also the impact of inflation on your purchasing power, particularly your dreams, the things you want to do with your money in the future. Doubling your money in 12 years might sound amazing, but now you have to also take into account the inflation and your financial goals to make well-informed decisions about your savings, your investments. Understanding the power of exponential growth and compound interest, as well as the impact of inflation and your inflation, which is different from the official inflation, that is essential to make informed financial decisions. Now, harnessing the power of compounding through dividend reinvesting, finding good return on your investments, that will all lead to substantial wealth accumulation, but also you need to take into account inflation, and that will help you to preserve and protect your wealth over time. Exponential growth is a concept that describes a rapid increase in a variable as a result of compounding over time. You need to understand exponential growth to make better investments, and you can start right now to learn all of that visiting arata.se/truly wealthy.